this is for Algebra 1, and this is day 3 of factoring trinomials. Basically, we're not learning anything new. We're just spending more time doing problems like we had on day 2, which is where you have a number in front of the x squared. So remember, you take the first number and you multiply it by the last number. So 2 times 2 is 4, and that's what we find the factors of. So 1 and 4, 2 and 2. Remember to put your small factors on the left, your big numbers on the right, and as you're going down, once you get to the same number, you know you found them all. All right, so then you have to look at your sign rules, and they're going to be different, and the big one is negative. So the big ones are negative, and if they're different, that means the small ones have to be positive. I need the ones that equal -3, and that's going to be 1 and -4. You cannot go to your answer yet. You have to bring down your 2x squared, pull over your two factors and put an x with them, so plus 1x minus 4x, and then bring down your minus 2 at the end. So now you're going to split the problem in two and see what you can pull out. The first two have an x in common, and that leaves me 2x plus 1. Remember that if you have an x and you take it out and everything's gone, you have to put the 1 there as a placeholder. There's a minus, so I put a minus. The next two have a 2 in common. So 4 divided by 2 is 2x. Remember that if you had a minus in the middle, you got to change this sign. And so instead of minus here, it's a plus. 2 divided by 2 is 1. The two sets of parentheses should be the same, and they are. So you write it down because that's part of your answer. And then you take what you pulled out and make another set of parentheses. So x minus 2 goes together. And that is your answer. For number 2, you're going to take 3 times 3, and so you're going to find the factors of 9. 1 and 9, 3 and 3. Signs are different. The largest one is negative, which means that the small one must be positive. I need them to equal -8, so I'm going to use 1 and -9. So this becomes 3m squared plus 1m, or plus m, minus 9m minus 3. Split it in half. The first two have an m in common, and it leaves you 3m plus 1. Bring down your minus. The next two divide by 3, and it leaves you 3m plus 1, because that minus means you change the sign. So 3m plus 1 is part of my answer, and m minus 3 is the other part of my answer. Looking at number 3, you're going to multiply your 6 times your 6. So you're finding the factors of 36. 1 and 36. 2 and 18. 3 and 12. 4 and 9. 6 and 6. And if you're not sure what they are, you do 36 divided by 1, 36 divided by 2, 36 divided by 3, etc. Signs are different. The big one is positive this time, which means that the small ones have to be negative. So we bring our 6x squared down. We pull over. Oh, we need to choose. We need them to equal a positive 5. And that's going to be -4 and positive 9. So we're going to pull over minus 4x plus 9x, and then bring down my minus 6. Split it in half. They both divide by 2, and they both have an x. 6 divided by 2 is 3. X squared becomes x minus 4 divided by 2 is 2. The x is gone. It's a plus. They both divide by 3. 9 divided by 3 is 3x. We keep the minus because it was a plus in the middle. 6 divided by 3 is 2. So we have 3x minus 2, and we have 2x plus 3, and that is your answer. Number 4, we're going to be multiplying 3 times 8, so we're going to find the factors of 24. 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, 4 and 6. Signs are different. The large one is positive, so the small ones must be negative. They need to equal 2, so we're going to use -4 and 6. So bring down the 3x squared, pull over the minus 4x plus 6x, bring down the minus 8. Split it in half. They both have an x. Leaves you 3x minus 4. Plus, they both divide by 2. Leaves you 3x minus 4. So we have 3x minus 4, and we have x plus 2. Number 5, you're going to multiply 2 and the 3, so you're going to find the factors of 6. 1 and 6, 2 and 3. Signs are the same, and they're all positive. We need the ones that equal 5, so we're going to work with 2 and 3. So bring down your 2a squared, pull over your plus 2a plus 3a, and bring down your plus 3. Split it in half. They both divide by 2, and they both have an a. Leaves you a plus 1. Make sure you put a 1 since everything canceled. Bring down the plus. They both divide by 3. Leaves you a plus 1. So we have a plus 1 in parentheses, and we're going to put 2a plus 3 in parentheses, and that is going to be your answer. Now, if you look at number 6 and you notice 3, 6, and 24 will all divide by 3. If you realize that, it makes life much simpler. Okay, you would pull that 3 out, and it leaves you y squared minus 2y minus 8. So now you're just factoring what's in the parentheses. So you find the factors of 8, 1 and 8, 2 and 4. Signs are different. The big one is negative, and they need to equal negative 2. So you pull down your 3, and since there's not anything in front of the y squared, you're ready to make your 2 sets of parentheses. We have x plus 2, and we have x minus 4. That's your answer. Now, if you don't see that, and you do number 6 the way you've done 1 through 5, you will still get the correct answer. Okay? You won't necessarily have your 3 out front, but that's okay, and I would count it right. So on number 7, I noticed that they all divide by 2. So I'm going to pull a 2 out, and it leaves me x squared minus 7x plus 9. So find the factors of 9, 1 and 9, 3 and 3. Signs are the same, they're all negative, and they need to equal negative 7. Problem is, none of them do. Do you remember what we write when nothing works out? This is prime. Now, if you weren't sure and you kind of wanted to check yourself, you could go ahead and say 2 times 18 is 36, 1 and 36, 2 and 18, 3 and 12, 4 and 9, 6 and 6. Signs are all negative, and they need to equal negative 7. And you would once again discover that none of them equal, no, they need to equal negative 14. And we have negative 12, and we have negative 13. We skipped right over it. So there's your verification that it really is prime. So looking at the last one, you're going to take 4 times 3, and you're going to find the factors of 12, 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. Signs are different. The large ones are negative, and it needs to equal negative 3. So 3 minus 4 is negative 1. 2 minus 6 is negative 4. And 1 minus 12 is negative 11. So this one is also prime because none of them equaled negative 3. Okay? So don't jump on prime because it doesn't happen real often, but be aware that it does happen occasionally. All right, so that's the end of your notes. You're ready for your assignment. Call me over if you have any questions.